So one more category they're going to throw out when we talk about this creating a common language for a common concern and a common cure is that there are gifted kids that will come through our youth ministries. Maybe musically, maybe athletically, it could be all kinds of ways they're gifted. And as cultures, we tend to praise and put them on pedestals and talk about their future and unfortunately, let them get away with things they shouldn't get away with. First time I kind of started to even recognize the idea that some people were gifted and that it wasn't necessarily good for them, I was in doing jail ministry. And as I'm sitting there talking through the screen or the little box or the window, whatever setting it was with these different people, they would show me these drawings that were incredible. Or say, hey, I wrote a song. Or, they had gifts. They were sitting in jail. And I'm like, what's going on here? As gifted as you are, why don't you use that? Why don't you go forward with that? It's like it could take you places. But the reality was they went through high school where people just passed them on. Oh, I don't want to hold them back. They've got a gift. They're an athlete. They're an artist. They're a musician. They should have held them back. Because here's the reality. When high school's over, the red carpet ride ends. And now you got to work. And yeah, you may be able to draw an incredible Spider-Man in 5 minutes. But if you're going to work for a graphics designer, you have to be able to design a logo for a donut shop. That is not Spider-Man. That's art, that's skill, that's talent, all those pieces that things I could never do would take an artist to do. But there's discipline in that. There's just not your preference, but their will. All these pieces come into play. And too often I've seen those gifted people who got that red carpet ride all the way through high school. They get out of high school and all of a sudden rubber meets the road and they got to show up every day to design that donut logo for Aunt Milda's Donut Shop. Or every day as they move from the high school athletic level to the college level, all of a sudden they aren't even good enough to play. Maybe full ride scholarship, but they're a red shirt. All of a sudden they've got 5 coaches that tell them everything they do wrong. And because they were gifted in high school and they got a red carpet ride, maybe they don't have the disciplines to take that next level step. And at that point, they're a failure and they wash out. And when you fail at the hard things, you tend to take the easy things. And that's why crime comes into play so easily, because you can make a ton of money illegally. Couldn't tell you how many times I've talked to guys that have, gone through the system, they're finally out now and they're trying to make a clean start. I'll say, what's been the biggest challenge about trying to walk straight? Now that you've been incarcerated, now you're out. And they said, well, before I got caught, I used to walk around with $5,000 to $10,000 on me. I could do anything I wanted to do whenever I wanted to do it. I didn't even have to think about it. I could buy a car. I could eat at the best restaurant. Anything I wanted. So now I have a minimum wage job and I have to save up enough money in a week to pay all my bills and eat at McDonald's once. That's a big jump. That's a big jump. And a lot of people don't make it. They go right back. Why? Because it's easier. And it's probably because from the beginning of their lives, at least at some points, somebody gave them the red carpet ride ticket and they rode it. But when high school ended, boom, it all fell apart. So don't have 2 standards for your youth. If there's some gifted kid up there in the worship team who's a mess, the other students know that. You need to pull them. You need to walk them through whatever area it is they're struggling with to where they're not struggling with it anymore. That to be the life of Christ, to represent him up front, to say all these things as you sing these songs and not have any of them be real. Students know that. They know that's pure hypocrisy. So we can't have a double standard. Our gifted kids need the same treatment, and sometimes they need even a better foundation in the basic realities of life because nobody else has given it to them. It may land in our laps. But if we do that, that gifted kid can go as far as the Lord would have them to go with the gifts he indeed give them.